Labomed Incorporated has over 80 years of combined experience in the scientific instrument industry, which ensures us as a top leader in this fast-expanding market. Our goal is to provide exceptional products to the scientific community with the highest level of service. We focus on innovation, reliability, and efficiency, which has led us to become the manufacturer of choice for research, clinical, and industrial laboratories around the globe. Today we will be working with the FACA 200 ISE. Once you place your instrument on your lab bench, you can start to remove the protective coverings that were used to ship it and protect it. Gently remove the styrofoam from under the probes. And don't forget to remove this silicone bag that was used to help it prevent it from humidity. I am now going to briefly show you the different parts of the instrument itself, including the sample and reagent tray, the ISE cup, the sample probe, the mixing probe, the reaction tray, and the washing station. Within your shipping crate, you should have also found your accessory parts that came in boxes. Once you open this large white box, you can find the packing slip that you can go through to make sure that you received everything okay. First, you will find the CD that you will use to install the software on your PC. Second, you will find 40 type reagent bottle 1, reagent bottle 2 with holders, your cuvettes, detection probe, sample probe. In your package of cables, you will find a power cable, an RS-232 COM cable, a ground cable, and a sensor. Within your tube packaging, you will find tubes and a sinkage block. In the rest of the packaging, you will find a fixed buckle, black cup, tools, 8A fuse, a 12-volt, 20-watt lamp with holder, and PCI card. In another box, you will find sample cups. In a third box, you will find the lids to your reagent and sample tray and your reaction tray. With your ISE instruments, you will also receive a separate ISE reagent box. When installing your instrument, you will first want to check the back of your instrument to see whether you have one or two RS-232 ports. Your ISE instruments should have two, and your non-ISE instruments will have one. When looking at the back of your PC, it may contain two RS-232 ports, but if it only has one, like displayed here, then you will need to use your PCI card extender by removing the side panel and taking your PCI card extender through the back and placing your PC card extension into the junction. After you add the PCI card extender, make sure to install your PCI card driver. After adding the PCI card extender, we plugged in COM1 cord into the back of the PC and have connected it to the first RS-232 port. The second COM cord is plugged into the second RS-232 port and then connected to the extender. In the lower right-hand corner of the back of your instrument, you will find the plug-in for your power cord. Next to your power cord plug-in, there are two switches that say standby and cooler. You can flip those into the on position and leave them in that position for the duration. On the left-hand side of your instrument is the main power switch. Go ahead and click that into the on position as well, and you will hear and feel your fan start. The lights in the front will indicate that your power is on. Two green lights will mean that it is running and is powered on correctly. If the third light turns on and you hear a beeping alarm, this will mean that you do not have enough DI water to run your instrument. If the fourth light is on and you hear a beeping alarm, this will mean that your waste is too full to continue the next run. 6 of your tubes from your packaging will be plugged into the back of your instrument. The first one, larger tube, will be plugged into the air port. The second, smaller tube will be plugged into the water in and extended down to your clean distilled water using the sinkage block at the bottom. The third tube will be plugged into your high pollution waste or hazardous waste and extended to your waste container. Your fourth and fifth tubes, large and small, will also be plugged into the waste and extend into the waste container. Now please note that if you would like to separate out your high pollution or hazardous waste, then you would need to have a second hazardous waste container. And your last tube will be plugged into the detergent line and will extend into your distilled water as well to use for cleaning. If you would like to periodically clean with detergent, then you would just remove the tube and place it into your detergent container. Also next to your tubing, you will find 2 outlets to plug in sensors. One sensor is for your water shortage, and the second sensor is for your waste full. You will have 2 probes that you can plug into the sensors and extend into your containers so that they sense your water shortage or sense your waste being full. If you would like to separate your high pollution waste or hazardous waste, then you can remove that tube and have a second container that is meant for hazardous waste. Also, remember that your waste containers need to be stored below your instrument and not at level or above. And now you install your software with the CD that came in your packet. Once your software disk is loaded, go ahead and click on Open Folder to view files. Double-click on the FACA 200 ISE. Click on Setup. Click on Yes. And follow the installation process by clicking on the button Next. And now your installation is complete, so go ahead and hit Finish. While you're in this folder, you may want to go ahead and copy your manuals onto your desktop. Now you will see your application software ready to use. For your login when you receive your software, your sign-in checker will be admin and admin again. And click Log On. It will ask you to check your DI water supply and make sure that it is adequate, and also that your waste barrels are emptied. When you first open your software, after your instrument is installed for the first time, you will want to go to the far left and click on Device Maintenance. Here you will see some of the maintenance and cleaning procedures that you will want to use. Wash pipeline, probe maintenance 2, device reset, and wash needle. It is important to wash the needle 9 times, but we cannot type in 9 and have the instrument run 9 times at once, so you'll want to type in 3 and click on Wash Needle and repeat this procedure 3 times. Also on the device maintenance page, you will see other procedures such as wash pipeline, probe maintenance 2, and device reset. You can wash reaction cups by washing them all, or selecting a range and only washing specified cups. If you have a cleaning kit, then you will use this area to use the cleaning kit to clean reaction cups. At the start of each day, it is important that you click on the Start Work procedure so that it will run through calibration and cleaning of your instrument to prep for your work during that day. Once you're finished running the Start Work procedure that will take at least 10 minutes, go up and click on Item and click on Biochemistry Item Setup. Type in password 999 and click OK. Here you will see your list of different reagents. If we click on an example like TP, you will see that it comes with preloaded default settings. You will want to double check these settings with your reagent's data sheet package insert and make sure that these settings match that of your data sheet. Default settings should match Labomed reagents. However, this is an open system, so you may use other vendor reagents on this instrument as well. So just make sure that you click the button so that you can edit each parameter to match your data sheet. After you change them to match your data sheet, click on Save and Confirm. If you found that you've saved parameters but want to get back to the original default settings of the reagent, go ahead and re-click on the Load Fixed parameter, choose TP, and click Load, and Yes. And it will go back to the original default parameters. So when checking to make sure that your settings match your data sheet of your reagent, it is important to definitely check the reagent volume, because on your data sheet, it may suggest to use up to 2,000 or microliters or 2 mils of reagent for each test. If you would like to limit the volume, you can change this setting here to 300 microliters at least, but be sure to adjust your sample volume based on the ratio that is shown on the data sheet. For example, if it suggests that you use 2 mils or 2,000 microliters volume of reagent and use 20 microliters of sample, you will make sure that you want to adjust for that by putting 300 microliters here and changing sample to 3 microliters to contain and conserve that ratio. From this page, you can click on Reagent Setup, or at any time you can click on Item and then pull down to Reagent Setup. Once again, type in the password 999 and click OK. Here you will see the default positions and the default barcodes for the Labomed reagents, but these can all be changed. You would like to first look, if you select a reagent, look to find R1 position, and if there is an R2 position, then that means there are 2 reagents for each test. For the case of TP, R1 position is 16, but R2 position is 0. If R2 is set at 0, that means there is only 1 reagent for that reaction test. Just remember that R1 position can be edited. So where you put your vial in the reagent tray should match your R1 and your R2 positions when needed. Next, click on Test Task and click on Add Sample. Here, you will be able to add sample and click on the tests that you would like to use. You will see that the patient ID is populated, and you can add name and other identifying factors if you would like. Also, in setup of the sample, you can determine which container you put the sample in, whether you're using a white cup or the tube itself. Just make sure that you pick the appropriate one, because for example, if you choose cup and you accidentally use a tube, you may not reach the actual sample that's in the bottom of the tube. If you choose tube, but actually use a cup, you may break the actual probe because it will insert too deep in the cup and hit the bottom. If you decide you do or don't want to run ISE, you can go to Edit Sample and either unclick or click the box where it says ISE and then hit OK to save. Make sure to check your cup position and adjust it so that it matches where you place the cup with your sample. Now click on Test, and this will show us a visual of the reagent and sample tray and highlight where your sample and your reagent are. Be sure to double check and make sure that your vials are in those positions. After your samples run, you can click on Browse Result and browse for the sample results you would like to see. From here, you can print, and you can also select individual items and export to Excel. Your PC can be hooked up to a printer to print results, or you can use a flash drive to print to save, or to export your Excel and save to your flash drive. It is convenient to be able to remove your reagent tray by flipping the tabs up and using it to prepare your reagents. Some reagents come in bottles already meant to fit on the reagent tray. This is an open system though, so you may use reagents that do not already come in these bottles. For those, you can use the empty bottles that come in your packet. The first bottle holds a maximum of 32 mils. So depending on the volume that you need to use, you can choose which bottle you would like. Bottle number 2 holds up to 8 mils and comes with a holder so that it will still fit into the reagent tray. When returning the reagent tray, make sure to align the hole labeled reagent position with the corresponding metal point down below the tray. This way, you can push your tabs and re-secure the reagent tray. Shown here is an example of bottle version number 1 and bottle version number 2 with holder. This is also an example of an R1 and an R2, both involved in a one-test reaction. TP and creatine are both single reagent reactions. Be sure to double check that your reagent vials are definitely in the positions that they are programmed to be in on your computer. Also be sure that you remove each reagent's lid before starting so that the probe does not hit the lid and break. Patient serum samples can be placed on the outer edge of the reagent and sample tray. You can use cups, or you can actually also use tubes. Just make sure that your settings on the software match your choice. Also double check to make sure that the positions match the position of your sample on the software. Once all the samples and reagents are loaded and you are ready to run the test, place the reagent tray covers back on the instrument. After removing the ISE assembly, you will need to fill your reagents. To detach the vials from each other, twist one of them to start the rotation of the screw. Remove the screw And now you can remove the vials. Keeping them in order, fill your vials with the appropriate solutions. The first vial, labeled reference, will be filled with your reference electrode solution. Use a pipette, a 1 ml pipette set at 800 microliters. Remove 800 microliters and fill the reagent vial. For this vial, you will want to add a little bit of salt. Tap about a millimeter or two of salt into the vial and replace cap. For the 3 other vials labeled CL, NA, and K, you will be putting 800 microliters of electrolytic solution. Please replace the pipette tip with a new tip and fill each with 800 microliters. Now reassemble your vials in order on the rod. Double check to be sure that the order is reference, CL, NA, then K. And re-screw on the screw at the end of the assembly. Make sure it is secure and set your vials on the lab bench to make sure they are completely aligned. After the reagent vials are filled, go ahead and set the assembly back on the tray and reattach the tubing. Close the protective cover to hold them in place. You will see a set of tubing labeled A and B, so remove those from the side of the instrument and look at the clamps labeled A, B, and C. Go ahead and close each clamp in the locked position by pushing on the side and checking the metal lever. Once those are clamped off, find tubing A and your standard solution A provided by Labomed, and screw in the tubing. Repeat this with tubing B and standard lab solution B. Please note that the ISE is not open and you will need to use Labomed reagents. Once everything is put back in place, go ahead and close the door. And that's your ISE chamber. Once all your samples and reagents are loaded, you can go ahead and start the test. It is important to make sure your lid is closed while it is moving and testing so that no one comes along and actually accidentally hits a probe and knocks it off calibration. When you've started your samples, you can click on the test page and actually see at the bottom where the graph is showing you the test points in real time. Because you can add new patient samples while samples are already running, sometimes accidents happen where the probe will be hit and accidentally break. In this case, you'll want to replace the probe with the replacement probe that came in your kit. To do this, slightly squeeze the middle of the yellow protector and lift to remove the top half. You will see your probe is inserted and attached to a tube towards the back. Use your fingernails to gently pull back the tubing and detach it from the probe. You will lift up the probe, remove it from the black holder, detach the red wire from the probe, detach the black wire from the connector, take out the probe, put in the new replacement probe, where you will need to use the black wire in the new probe and actually use the metal into the connector and reattach the red wire to the probe, soldering it into place. Be sure to clamp the probe back into place into the black holder. Once this is complete, lower the probe back down and reattach the tubing in the back. When everything is in place, place the top protector back. In the event that your probe gets hit by someone accidentally when the lid is up on the instrument and you want to reset the calibration of the probes, go to Device Maintenance and click on Device Reset. For cleaning and maintenance, you'll want to remove and replace your cuvettes at least every 6 months. Use your tool to unscrew each section. That's not unscrewed enough. And here you will see how to remove your cuvettes and replace them with new ones. Once you have done that, replace the tray and make sure that your screws are back securely in place. When handling cuvettes, it is important to pick them up on the long edge as not to touch the flat side surfaces used during the testing. Other cleaning of your instrument can be done using a paper towel with water or pure alcohol and wiping down dust, dirt, and any buildup you may accumulate on your instrument. You can avoid touching the needles and probes because those will be cleaned using the software system. Once all your samples are finished running, go to Device Maintenance and click on the Stop Work procedure to clean the system before you shut down for the day. For cleaning and maintaining your ISE system, go up to Device and choose ISE Maintenance. Look towards the bottom where the default position for the vial is position 3, but you can change that if you'd like. Suggested volume of your reagent is 400, and this is where you will use detergent C and then D to put into an open container, and then click on Maintaining with Cleaning to run the detergents through your ISE system and clean it. We suggest you do this once a week and run detergent C first and then replace the vial in the same position and run detergent D. Labomed has different capacity automated chemistry analyzers with ranges from 200 to 800 tests per hour and an additional 120 to 160 tests per hour using the optional ISE or ion separation electrolytes. The instrument we will be working with today is from the FACA series. FACA 200 ISE Fully Automatic Chemistry Analyzer is a fully automated and random access biochemistry analyzer. This machine can run 200 tests and up to 320 tests per hour with the optional ISE. The use of this instrument is similar to FACA 261 and FACA 301 with the optional ISE. Labomed Incorporated is certified by ISO 9001-2000, has CE conformity, and is FDA licensed. We carry a wide variety of products including, but not limited to, diagnostic laboratory instruments, reagents, spectrophotometers, microscopes, digital cameras, cuvettes, and cells. We thank you for choosing the Labomed Biochemistry Analyzer for your laboratory requirements and look forward to serving your scientific industry needs.